Welcome to Sacred Roots, and today we will enter one of the most sacred and controversial sites in Christianity, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. Imagine walking among the ancient stones where, according to Christian tradition, Jesus Christ was crucified, died, and rose again. A place where faith blends with history, where pilgrims weep with emotion, and where ancient rivalries between different Christian denominations still echo through the sacred corridors. Prepare for a journey through nearly 2,000 years of history, extraordinary architecture, mysterious legends, and episodes ranging from the sublime to the macabre. Our story begins in 30 AD, when Jesus of Nazareth was condemned to death. The site of his crucifixion, known as Golgotha or Calvary, meaning place of the skull, was outside the walls of Jerusalem at the time. According to the Gospels, after the crucifixion, Jesus' body was laid to rest in a new tomb, carved into the rock by Joseph of Arimathea. It was a typical tomb of the time, a burial chamber preceded by an antechamber sealed by a heavy circular stone. But how was this sacred site rediscovered? This is where one of the most fascinating figures in Christian history comes in: Helen, mother of Emperor Constantine. In 326 AD, at the age of 80, this extraordinary woman undertook a pilgrimage to the Holy Land. Helena was not just a devotee, she had a mission to find the exact sites of the Passion of Christ. Legend has it that Helen, guided by divine visions and the testimony of local Christians, identified a hill where the Romans had built a temple to Venus. Sensing that pagans often built their temples over Christian sacred sites to desecrate them, she ordered excavations. What happened next bordered on the supernatural. The excavations revealed not only an empty tomb carved into the rock, but also 3 wooden crosses. But which one was Christ's cross? Tradition tells of Helena's macabre ordeal. A gravely ill woman was led to touch each cross. Upon touching the 3rd, she was instantly cured. The true cross of Christ, had been found. Constantine, impressed by his mother's discoveries, ordered the construction of the grandest church in Christendom. The Basilica of the Holy Sepulchre, inaugurated in 335 AD, was a revolutionary feat of engineering. The original church was actually a complex of buildings: a large basilica, a columned atrium, and a rotunda, the anastasis, built specifically around Christ's tomb. Imagine the architectural boldness, building a circular church around a tomb, transforming it into the beating heart of the structure. But the history of this sacred site is also one of destruction and rebirth. In 614 AD, the Persians sacked Jerusalem and severely damaged the church. Later, in 1009, the Fatimid Caliph Al-Hakim bi-Amr Allah ordered the almost complete destruction of the complex. Why such fury against these sacred stones? Al-Hakim, considered mad by many historians, saw Christianity as a threat to his power. The destruction was so systematic that even the tomb was partially demolished. The church we see today is largely the result of the reconstruction carried out by the Crusaders between 1114 and 1170. These warrior pilgrims created a masterpiece of Romanesque architecture, unifying all the sacred sites under one roof. The current facade, with its 2 levels of arches and elaborate ornamentation, reflects the Crusader architectural style. Note the details. Each stone tells a story of devotion, power, and conflict. Here we have one of the most fascinating and paradoxical aspects of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Its keys have been in the hands of 2 Muslim families for over 800 years. The Juday al-Ghudia and Nusaybe families are the Muslim guardians of Christianity's holiest site. Every day since the 12th century, a member of the Juday family has brought the keys to open the church, while the Nusaybe family is responsible for securing the entrance. This peculiar tradition arose from a practical necessity. The different Christian denominations, Roman Catholics, Greek Orthodox, Armenian Orthodox, Copts, Syrians, and Ethiopians were in constant conflict over the custody of the holy sites. Saladin, the legendary Muslim leader who recaptured Jerusalem in 1187, found a brilliant diplomatic solution, entrusting the keys to neutral Muslim families. This way, no Christian denomination would have an advantage over the others. It is an honor that transcends religion, Adib Judeh, the current holder of the keys, once said. We protect not just a building, but the faith of millions of people around the world. This tradition has survived empires, world wars, and the creation of the State of Israel, remaining a unique symbol of coexistence between different faiths. But not all is harmony in the sacred halls of the Holy Sepulchre. The church is the scene of one of the oldest and most intense religious rivalries in the Christian world. 6 Christian denominations share custody of the church. The Greek Orthodox control the majority, including the sepulchre. The Roman Catholics manage several chapels. The Armenian Orthodox hold significant grounds, and the Coptic, Syrian, and Ethiopian Orthodox hold smaller areas. In 1757, the Ottoman Sultan Osman III, tired of the constant conflicts between Christians, established the status quo, a decree that defined exactly which spaces, rituals, and times belonged to each denomination. This 250-year-old document still governs church life today. Every inch is mapped, every ritual is timed, every movement is carefully monitored. A chair moved a few inches can cause an international diplomatic incident. Conflicts sometimes go beyond the verbal. In 2008, a fight between Greek Orthodox and Armenian monks resulted in injuries and police intervention. The reason? An Armenian monk had positioned himself in an unauthorized location during a procession. In 2004, during preparations for Orthodox Easter, a door left open by Franciscans in Coptic territory led to a pitched battle between monks. Israeli police had to use pepper spray to separate the monks. One of the most curious symbols of these rivalries is the immovable ladder, a wooden ladder that has stood against the church facade since the 18th century. No one can move it because that would violate the status quo. It remains there, immobile, as a silent monument to Christian divisions. It is ironic, observed one pilgrim, that the place of the resurrection is also the scene of so many symbolic deaths of Christian charity. Every year, on Orthodox Holy Saturday, thousands of faithful gather at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre to witness one of the most controversial phenomena in Christianity, the miracle of the Holy Fire. The Greek Orthodox Patriarch enters the Holy Sepulchre alone and, according to tradition, miraculously receives divine fire that does not burn. This fire is then distributed to the faithful who believe it possesses supernatural properties. Skeptics point to the possibility of trickery, but millions of Orthodox Christians around the world eagerly await this moment every year. In 2005, when the fire was delayed, crowds in Jerusalem panicked, fearing it was a sign of the end times. Another phenomenon reported by pilgrims is the zwet, or tears of the stone of anointing, the marble slab where, according to tradition, Jesus' body was prepared for burial. Believers report seeing drops of liquid dripping from the stone, interpreted as divine tears. Scientific analysis suggests natural condensation, but for believers, it's yet another manifestation of the sacred. Engineers working on the church's restoration report unexplained phenomena. Cracks that close on their own, stones that reposition themselves overnight, structures that remain stable against all the laws of physics. I worked on cathedrals for 40 years, said an Italian architect, but here the stones seem to have a life of their own. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre is more than stone and mortar. It is a microcosm of the human experience before the sacred. Here, faith and skepticism, devotion and conflict, tradition and modernity meet. For some, it's the most sacred place on earth, where God became man and conquered death. For others, it's a fascinating archaeological site that holds secrets dating back 2 millennia. For all, it's a testament to the human capacity to create, destroy, and recreate in the name of what we believe. Whether you are Christian, Muslim, Jewish, or agnostic, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre invites you to reflect on the mysteries that transcend our understanding. In the words engraved on one of its ancient columns, "Here, the eternal touched the temporal." Jerusalem awaits modern pilgrims, not just those seeking faith, but all who wish to witness where history and eternity meet. Next time you're in Jerusalem, set aside a few hours to sit in silence at the Holy Sepulchre. You may not see miracles, but you will certainly feel the weight of 2,000 years of human hope. This was another episode of Sacred Roots. Join us on this journey through places where the sacred still pulses in the modern world.